Give it count.
Hi, welcome everybody. For all of you that are here live, a big welcome, as well as all of you online. We are so glad to have you today. And for those of you who've been here before, this is the Igniting Souls Fellowship, where you get to come once a month and get so much content and so much help for your businesses, for your coaching, for your authors that you are working on your books. So today, we're going to have Kary Oberbrunner. He is going to teach us on creating 7 essentials for a killer coaching business. How many of you here are already coaches or are starting your own business of some sort? Okay, most of you here live. If you're online right now and you are also doing that, go ahead and type in the comments coaching or whatever business you're starting as well. So I want to tell you about a couple years ago when I was starting my coaching business. I love people, I love to work with people. I especially love to work with women and helping them to grow to their full potential and get out there and do what they're called to do. So on a personal level, I do that pretty well, but I learned quickly that I need tools in my toolbox, right? There's so many things out there, there's so many programs and everything. How do I help myself to help my clients better? So one thing that I did was I got involved with the Igniting Souls, one of the programs called Your Secret Name. And I started to really invest in that in myself. I became certified in it because it was such great content. And I took that content in my business and took that to an event that I do for women. And this last year, when we had that event, I know some of you here were actually there. I know Erica spoke at the event. It was so powerful, because this program allowed me to have women come up to the front and take their soul junk and place it on a board and essentially leave it there and walk away. The things that people were saying that they had as their soul junk were things like not enough and lazy and defeated. I mean, there are so many things that we carry within ourselves. So to have women go and really identify those because of this tool that I had in my toolbox through Your Secret Name, it was so extra powerful. Could anyone else here use some extra tools in your toolbox? I mean, with your businesses? Yes, I hear that. So I want to, without further ado, invite up our Chief Igniter, Kary Oberbrunner, and let's give him a big warm welcome.
Hey, it's great to be here with you guys today. And if you are joining us on our live audience streaming, go ahead and type where you're from. We'd love to hear where you're from as well. So today I'm going to be talking about the 7 essential elements for creating a killer coaching business. As we get started today, somebody already said they thought I was a female. That's all right. It's all good. Just on the name, it's all good. But my name is Kary. I'm the Chief Igniter. My business partner, David, is in the room as well, and he is doing always fantastic things to get the business igniting our goal, which is 1 million souls by 2020. Today, I want to tell you what you're going to discover right away, because I like to give the good stuff up front and say, look, if you came, here's exactly what you're going to achieve. You are going to understand the 7 essential elements for creating a killer coaching business. Does it work? Hey, look at our business. We are now global. We are now in many, many countries. And hey, 5 years ago, I was stuck in my day job. So I'm going to show you how we made that transition. Also, you're going to learn why you're 67% more likely to succeed if you start as a side hustle. How many of you are here today and you say, you know what? I'm kind of doing my side hustle, and don't worry, we won't show your boss. We're not going to film you guys. But is anyone kind of doing a side hustle? In other words, how many of you have a day job too, and you're kind of like, I'd like to go pro with my passion? Okay, we're going to talk about a legitimate research study that was conducted by the University of Wisconsin that tracked people well over a decade, and it shows that if you have a side hustle, you're actually more likely to succeed, and we're going to talk about that today. Number 3, 9 reasons why now is the best time to start a coaching business. So at the very end, I'm going to talk about that as well. So we are going to start right out of the gate by talking about side hustles. Side hustles are this thing of kind of the new century. You didn't used to have this. Back in the day, if you were a farmer, you were a farmer. If you were a blacksmith, you were a blacksmith. Sure, you had Renaissance men and women, but those were few and far between. Mainly you were doing your main gig. And then all of a sudden, something happened which we call a side hustle. I don't know, I was real young back in the day, but I guess they had a TV show called like Moonlighting or something. I don't even know if that's what it was about, but probably not. But anyway, we're talking right now about side hustles, and here's the thing. In 2013, check this out. This is according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor. So I know when people put up stats, they're like, oh, he's just making up that stat. Go ahead and look it up. The U.S. Bureau of Labor said that in 2013, 5% of the population had a side hustle. That was about 6.8 million people in the U.S. Erica, have we had anybody yet who's not in the U.S.? I know a lot of times we have UK because, I don't know, it's 5 hours further. Or we have Australia, we have some great people. What do you think in 2017 the number is today? Anybody? What do you think? 15%. 15%? That's a good guess. That's pretty close, actually. Guess what? 18% of the population, or 44 million Americans, have a side hustle. Is that crazy? Look at the number. In 4 years, we jumped quite a bit. Now, why is that? Why is that? Is that good? Is this a sign of something that's coming? We need to talk about that today, and that's actually what we're going to talk about. In fact, my opinion is that coaching, if you do it the right way, is one of the quickest ways to cash. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to prove with statistics, studies, and research today why I think coaching is one of the quickest way to cash if you do it the right way in a side hustle. So this picture is not that off. In fact, my buddy Derek Depry, who's one of our authors, Author Academy Elite students, his book Shift, he did a little blog post, and I thought it was fantastic, and he used this photo and some other things as well. But this is not that foreign. How many of you have ever gone to Hollywood and you're in a restaurant and you're talking to who, and they say that this isn't their real job? The actors are working as what? Waiters and waitresses. Nashville is becoming this place as well. There's a lot of places in the country, here in the U.S., where people are saying, I'm just here because I really love to do this, but I can't find a way to do it full time yet. And so it's a side hustle. So this is from my book, Day Job to Dream Job. I brought a few copies in the back, but I'm going to talk about this. By the way, my old professor is in the room. He's not old, but he's my former professor, Pete, you know? Hey, good to see you, Pete. So, Pete, you were my fine arts teacher in college?
Yes.
Okay, now, I preface that. I'm not saying Pete's poor. I know he's not. He's smart with his finances. I'm just going to talk about a general rule with educators, okay? Educators, usually on the influence or income scale, they don't get that much. True? I mean, do we kind of have a joke in this country about like, why are teachers so underpaid? They're so important. I remember all my teachers. I love my teachers. How many of you are teachers or former teachers in the room? Anybody? Let's give them a hand. Yeah, excellent. So you guys, I'm telling you, Mr. Moore, Miss Bristol, Miss Buer, you know, I can remember all my teachers and say, wow, they shifted my life. Here's the problem. In the influence and income scale, especially the income scale, they're pretty low. Because they're teaching a lot of times theory. Okay? It's theoretical. And how many of you know professors, not Pete, but who just dusted off their notes after 30 years and got up and did the same lecture? Right? You did? No, don't say. You know people. Yeah, exactly. Managers, they tend to give tactics. They give tactical value to people. And as a result, they kind of move up on the income scale a little bit. Transformational are coaches, business coaches, and they tend to make more income. It's not that they're better, but it's that the result that they can create is often more recognized in our society. I'm not here today to talk about whether that's right or wrong. I'm just saying, if you look at the average business coach, who's doing it right versus the average teacher in this country, you're going to find a wide discrepancy of income. True? Lastly, are spiritual guides. Now, with spiritual guides, we're not going to talk about Joel Osteen today. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about Mother Teresa, but here's what I'm saying. Mother Teresa was dirt poor. But do you think Mother Teresa, when she went to different places, is in terms of the UN and other places where lawmakers were, and they tapped into Mother Teresa, do you think she had influence? Anybody? Mother Teresa? Absolutely. So I'm not saying it's all about the money, but I do know most of us have mortgages. And I do know most of us would like to do what we do full time. Or maybe you're on that path. You probably are on that path today. Today what you need to do is you need to adopt what I call a functional freelancer mindset. This is from day job to dream job as well. Most people in this world live according to the left side of the chart. They have a mindset, which you will see, and you might chuckle. Of course, you'll know exceptions, but the vast majority of people right now, check it out, in a long-term contractor mindset, they have a dependent posture. Why do I know this? Because about 2 months ago, two men that I highly, highly regard, rock stars, amazing guys in their companies, they are now getting a little older, and just the other day I found one of them as I turned around at a fast food restaurant. I won't say which one, right? But I turned around and there he was, and he kind of had an embarrassed face, and I was like, "Hey, it's great to see you. I haven't seen you in a year or two. What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, I work here now." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's cool." He's like, "Yeah, I just, the kids are out of the house. We got grandkids, and I'm here because I want to pick up some extra hours." And I was like, "That's cool. That's all good, And I just started talking to him, but I could tell there was another story. Comes out a month later, I find out ageism. You guys ever hear that term? Mm-hmm. Ageism. He goes into his company in a very high position, and he is told that day, "Here is your box. Take your stuff. Thanks for working for us. You're being transitioned out." Okay? Now, isn't that a shame? What do you guys think? Yeah. Shame? Mm-hmm. What's more risky? To have one person who pays your entire salary, or to have multiple people who pay your salary? Right? It's more risky today to say, "Hey, all my chips are on the man, or the woman, or the company." And back in the day, that was fine. And there was this thing called loyalty back in the day, I'm told, in the age of my grandparents and great-grandparents, where you would be loyal and they would fight for you, the company, and this type of thing. Today, you cost too much. Today, you're out. And my heart broke for this guy because I could see the confidence in his eyes that it was no longer there. It was there a couple years ago. He was crushing it, and today, he didn't do the work like you're doing today to think about what's next. He didn't have a side hustle to think about, what do I fall back on? And so today, that's exactly why we're talking about it. In fact, today, if you do have a day job, I'm going to ask that you leave the room with this side of the mindset, and I'll show you why it's powerful. Long-term contractor, again, huge gross estimations. I'm not saying everyone who has a day job blames others. I'm not saying that. But I am saying I've worked enough in corporate America. I've bumped up against enough people. I've been a consultant. I've been a coach. David and I have our own global business. And all I'm saying is that most people blame others when they don't bring in the results, bring in the numbers. They blame others. They blame the economy. They blame whoever's in office, this type of thing. Freelancers, if you're a freelancer, who can you blame? Right? If you're a freelancer who's not bringing in the cash, who can you blame? You, right? So I'm talking today about a mindset first that happens while you have a side hustle, then eventually you can replace that income. Long-term contractor often makes excuses. The stuff we have isn't good. The leads aren't hot enough. The equipment isn't new enough, this type of thing. Functional freelancer, you got to invite accountability. You're either in or out. The landscape chews you up and spits you out if you're not ready. embody denial, embody responsibility, right? And we can just go on. Do you know anybody who's on the clock? You guys ever know that, right? On the clock, right? When you're a long-term contractor, you get paid to show up, right? A lot of times. Hey, here's your money. You showed up today. Did anybody get paid as a functional freelancer just for showing up? What do you think? Now you have to deliver results or you are off. You are off. Usually with a freelancer, it's gig-based, project-based, and as a result, you got to deliver the results. Next one, externally motivated. Here's a bonus. Here's a trip. Here's extra perks. Here's a special office, right? As a freelancer, your office might be Panera, right? No one thought that was funny. Okay, it is true. All right, it's all good. Right? Let's keep going. Annual review metrics. So again, in a job, right, just over broke. I mean, we have jokes in our society about jobs. You know, I heard someone the other day, a cashier at Kroger, who said, I'm exchanging 5 for 2. And I was like, 5 for 2? What do you think she meant? What's that? Hours? I'm working 5 days of my life that I hate in a job that I hate. Why?
For the weekend.
To have 2 days off, right? Yeah, and think about that. Is that a way to live? I mean, last time I checked, I'm going to live in prison for 5 days so I can get out on the weekends. And I choose that because I feel like there's no other options. There is options today. I want to give you guys some hope today. All right? And then the next one, pay based on attendance, pay based on performance. Even if you are a person who's in a day job, please adopt the right-hand side. Because when you adopt the right-hand side of the equation, in your day job, what happens? What do you think happens? Become more valuable? You often get promoted, right? Because you're not doing the bare minimum. Because you are actually showing up and trying to make it happen. Ready for the 7? You guys ready? Do you need that last picture?
No, I just got it.
Okay, you just got it. All right. Awesome. Eric, I'd love to hear about our online crowd. How many feel like they're a long-term contractor mindset versus functional freelancer mindset? Okay, go ahead and type in that question. Which one are people? All right, let's go into the 7 essentials. Number 1, clarity. Number 1, clarity. I'm going to give you a hint. This is going to spell something. Okay, so all you word people, all right? Is there word games out there? What's a word game? Friends with words?
Words for friends.
Words for friends? Okay. Friends with words. It's all good, all right? So we're going to talk today about clarity, number 1. It starts with the C. Get this. I know you might not be able to read this. I will read it for you. This is a super funny, true story, all right? This is the actual paper. So about 6 months ago, I love to pick up my kids. I pick up my kids, drop them off every day. I love to do that. Today we were crushing it with the president test. So I learned more than I ever wanted to know about presidents. Does anyone know this trivia? It's worth a free book just because it came to me. Who was the only unmarried president? I think you're right, Pete. Pete, let's give Pete a book. All right, let's give Pete a hand. I think it was Buchanan. Somebody go ask Siri that, okay? I think it was. But here's the point. I was dropping my kids off at school, and I'm like, whoa, I forgot I have a webinar. And I thought, I can't get back to Lewis Center. I'm doing it at the library, okay? So I went, and I don't recommend this at all. Do a real loud webinar in the library, okay? But I got in a glass, bubble, if you will, and I was doing the webinar. And when I get on webinars, I get excited, man. I just start yelling and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, this lady walks by. Again, I'm back in the teen area during the day. So there's no teens in the library during the day. And all of a sudden, this lady slips under this piece of paper, and I'm like, oh, crap. I said crap, I didn't swear. Okay. So I said, oh, crap, right? And I'm not going to look at the paper when I'm in the middle of the webinar. So I just kind of wave at her, and I, thumbs up or whatever. And then I look after the webinar, and it says, hello, I could not help but hear your Session. Okay, that's true. I was yelling. I am curious and I would like to learn more about what you do. I wrote a book. It's self-published. Please contact me. Thanks, Pam blank. Okay? Here's the point. Everybody in this room is giving off a frequency. You realize this? Everybody who goes anywhere in life is giving off a frequency. Women are often better at this than guys. I'm just going to be honest. What do women say when they're at a store with their friend and some guy is kind of giving them the creeps? What do they say? That guy's giving me a bad vibe. What is vibe short for? Vibration. Think about that. You use the English language to say, that guy's giving me a bad vibe, vibration. I'm picking up a sense. How many of you have ever met someone for the first time and you're like, I would love to learn more about that person, work with that person, partner with that person, sit down, be mentored by that person? And how many of you are like, you've met someone and you say, where is the exit? Okay, let's be honest, right? Like, where is the exit, right? Hopefully it's not in this room. It's all good. Here's the point. When you are clear, you give off a crazy frequency. Because so many people in life, the biggest thing they need is what? Clarity. So when they meet someone, even if they don't agree with the person, right? Even though they don't agree with the person, they respect the person. They respect the person enough to say, wow, this person is clear. And here's what I say, clarity attracts, confusion repels. Clarity attracts, confusion repels. The reason I was stuck in my day job for so many years is because I wasn't clear. And I let everybody know that in subconscious ways. Like, hey, Brian, it's great to see you. Hey, can I pick your brain? Can I take some time? Can I ask you a question about something in my life? Is the CEO of Verizon going around and saying, can I pick your brain? Okay? Was Steve Jobs just saying, hey, hey, customers, can I pick your brain? Now, there is a strategy in selling called asking and getting people to do surveys so they lean in, but I'm not talking about tricks. I'm talking about legitimately giving off a clarity signal. For years, I didn't do this. Now, if you're on social media, I'm going to rip you to shreds. I apologize, okay? I'm on social media all the time. All the time. I have team members like Erica and others who run some of my social media. But here's the point. So many times in social media, we tell the world in loud letters, I am not clear. Is this true? Has anyone ever seen a post that says, I am not clear as a business owner? When you have social media and you use your social media to get clients and you post all about politics every second, do you think you're drawing clients to you or repelling clients from you? Repel. Even if the people agree with you. Even if the people, you've now given your channel, right? Because Twitter is your PR company. Twitter's your PR company. WordPress is your publishing company. Okay? Right? You have a TV channel. What's that called? YouTube or Facebook Live. You guys have what companies wish they had 30 years ago. You mean I can press a button and talk to the world live? Do you know that that would have cost someone like $100,000 10 years ago? And you have it in your pockets. So it's a tool. Be careful. Because if you're not careful, you're going to say, and again, I don't want to rip on anybody. I'm not ripping on anybody. I'm just saying I want you to get paid. I want you to get clients. And most people's social media from sun up till sundown is, wasn't that a crazy debate last night? Then it's at Starbucks pumpkin spice picture, right? And then it's going to the monster truck show tonight with the wife and kids. Then it's like, you know what? White Castle service stinks. Does anyone know their 1-800 number? Because my food's cold. Okay? Then it's like, hey, Taylor Swift song. Yeah. Right? And then it's like at night, hey, I'm starting a coaching business. PM me if you're interested. PM me. In other words, if you have cash, PM me. Is this effective marketing? Anybody? Are you repelling people? The number one thing you need in your coaching business is clarity, where you show up filled up. You show up filled up. I'm serious. Everyone you meet is a potential client. Everybody. The meat person at Meijer is a potential client. Don't even get me near anybody, because they're doing my eyes at the vision center, and they're like, hey, it's been a year, I haven't seen you, what's going on? I say, do you really want to know about my day, or do you want to know about my last year? I could tell I scared the lady, okay? I did. Because I'm not going to be like, oh, you know, the weather, I mean, the weather's great, you know, blah, 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 blah. Everyone's talking about the weather. So she looked at me and she's like, all right, tell me about your last year. And I just start serving her. I start talking about books. And she's like, that's fascinating. You have a publishing company? You know, I've been thinking about writing a book. Okay? At the end of the session, while she's working on my eyes, and I'm just giving her a seminar, right? She says, here's my email, please contact me. Clarity attracts. Stop talking about the Buckeyes. We're in Buckeye Land. I love the Buckeyes. But I'm saying the person you're talking to right now might actually be your client. So rather than saying, yeah, that was a great pass, start talking about them. Start asking about them, their business, their thoughts. And you will realize pretty soon, guess what? You've been coaching them. You see, I don't tell people I'm a coach. I coach them. And then afterwards, after 30 minutes of coaching, they're like, that was really interesting. What do you do? Oh, I'm a coach. What does that mean? What we've just been doing for the last 30 minutes. Well, that brought a lot of clarity. Great. Would you like a coaching package? Right? You see what I'm saying? All right, let's keep going here. Number 2, ownership. I love this quote by Dan Miller. Joel, if you can tag Dan or take a picture, because he's my buddy, and anytime I can quote him, I like that. But Dan Miller says this, that the best billboard for being a coach is a life well lived. Here's something I never do on social media. I never ask social media for a question I could Google. I'm just being real. These are little tips, folks. You know, why? Because last time I checked, I got my heart checked yesterday. Dr. Oberbrunner, nice dude. He's got all my books. I give him my books every year. We talk about writing, all this stuff. I'm telling you, don't get me near anybody, okay? But anyway, I'm talking to Dr. Oberbrunner. I don't ask people on social media, who's a good heart doctor? Why? Why do you not want to do that on social media? Because are your professionals asking you questions about referrals and these types of things? Last time I checked, well, you're paying a lawyer high dollars, and does he say, hey, where's a good place that I should go take my wife on for a date? Does your lawyer do that when they're billing you? Hopefully not, right? Hopefully not. My point is, if you walk around and you constantly serve, and not ask, or hey, buddy, hey, Chris, you could have got that on Siri, you could have got that on Google, right? Chris, come on up here. Come on up here, Chris. Let's give Chris a hand. Let's give Chris a hand. Unplanned, right? Did you know you were going to speak today? All right, you did, but you are. Okay. So here's the point. You told me, how long ago? About a month ago, he told me, Kary, how do I let others know? How to build an audience online. Yeah. And what did I do? What did I say?
He kicked my butt about social media.
Okay. And what were you doing?
What you were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you talking about a new garage you were?
A new barn in the backyard.
Okay, so he was talking all about his barn, okay?
Yep.
And he was wondering why he wasn't building an audience. And I told you to do what? For 7 days or 30 days? I forget what I told you.
Yeah, 30 days, and you said start making sure Twitter, Facebook, everything you're doing, LinkedIn, is consistent message.
Consistent message is one. So consistency. If you're going to talk about barns everywhere all the time and start selling barns, or what?
Start talking about what I'm trying to build.
Yeah. And did you say, hey, everybody, PM me, I got a coaching business?
No.
What did you start doing?
I started just sharing a lot of thoughts and quotes and things that I have been thinking about and impacted by, and
What's the change?
So
What's
the
the change?
change
30
is-
days.
yeah, so
Here's the experiment.
So
Let's
the
see what happens.
The engagement level on every channel has just exploded. Last Friday, I decided to do I started a fellowship in Dayton like this, but started back in March, took a couple months off, rebooted here. Last Friday, I did online only, on Zoom, and I had 3 people signed up for live. I ended up having 12 people sign up on Zoom, and I had 44 others watch the presentation when I shared it on Facebook.
Fantastic.
So I went from 3 to like 56 people.
Awesome.
But a lot of that was because
Yeah.
my everything's changing.
And am I trying to say, like, don't tell people about your life? Now your mom's going to call me, or, and now she's mad at me, or, am I trying to, like, say, don't be real? Chris, don't be real. Don't talk about real life. Okay, I'm not trying to say that. But I know that some of you use social media for business purposes. If you don't use social media for business purposes, talk about every flavor of Starbucks in the world. But try to get paid by Starbucks as an affiliate, okay? But what I'm talking about is when you use social media to promote your business, to get clients, to talk about what you're doing as your services, imagine listening to a radio station where in the morning it's rap, at 10 a.m. it's opera, at 12 p.m. it's country, at 1 p.m. it's jazz, then it's talk radio, then it's sports. What would you do to that channel? Anybody? You turn it off. Why? No focus. You are a channel. Okay? So Chris, good job on the 30
Hey,
days.
just another thing. This morning I was meeting with 2 guys at Panera at 6 a.m. and another guy walked by and he said, "Hey, I need to talk to you about your coaching business."
Excellent.
So I'm like, all right.
Excellent.
So.
And that's are the things that we want, right? Don't we want people to lean in and ask, right? So here's the next one. I'm going to go quicker. The best billboard for being a coach is a life well lived. This means that you do not have to be perfect. You do not have to be perfect. But if you have major blind spots in your life, focus on closing those gaps. Before you go say, hey, everybody, go follow me to be a whatever coach. I love it when I hear social media coaches and you go to their website and you see 5 followers on Twitter. What do you think? As a social media coach and you go to their Twitter and you find 5 followers, what do you think? Loser. All right. Right. You think what the audio and video are not matching, right? The audio and video. This is today's world that we live in. Or you go to their website and you realize they have 1 million followers and no engagement. What do you know about that? 1 million followers and no engagement. What do you think they did?
Bots.
They bought. Bots. And then you're really like, okay, now they're lying. Okay, now they're not just bad business people that they can't get results. Now they're lying. Okay? So these are little tests you can do. All right. I tell people selling is serving. Selling is serving. If you want more coaching clients, serve. Absolutely serve. Do not sell, serve. What's the only difference between serving and selling? I'll tell you. Selling is when you ask for their value, i.e. usually money, without giving. We call this a deficit. In other words, if I come up to Renee and say, hey Renee, I got a program, would you like to buy it? And she doesn't even know me, what do you think I just did? I sold her. Why? Because I didn't give anything first. They say that in today's marketplace, you need to give, give, give. How many of you have become purchasers of a software because they gave you a free trial first? Anybody? I do this all the time. Hey, free 14-day trial. Hey, free 7-day trial. And you test it, it takes away the risk, and if you like it, you keep it. If you don't, you get rid of it. You need to have that perspective for your coaching business. Has anyone here given complimentary coaching sessions ever? I know Brian has too. You have too? Excellent. Raise your hand high. I have. Joel, come on up here. Let's bring Joel up. Come on, give him a hand. All right, come on, Joel. Or a thinner, richer gear. Okay? All right. Thinner and younger, richer gear.
Which is better than slightly overweight.
I don't know. But come on up here, Joel. So we're here today because I gave you what? Back in 2012.
You gave me a free coaching session.
A free coaching session. Folks, speak for free when you can. Speak for free. And here's a really cool trick. At the end of your talk, by the way, Joel, did I just show up that day and just pop in and say, hey, I'm here. I'm the boss. I'm going to speak today. What did I do the whole time before it started? Do you remember what I did? I remember what I
I
did.
remember clearly.
What did I do?
And I do this every time I speak.
Okay.
You went around and handed out your worksheet. Hey, how are you, Renee? I'm Kary. Nice to meet you. Went around and introduced himself personally to each person.
There you go.
And I thought, wow, that's impressive. Who does that?
Who does it? I should have done that today. My bad. Let's get the technology stuff. But that's exactly what I did. I was a scared little dude. I was in my day job. I probably took off time of my day job to be at that early morning talk. I gave a fantastic talk. I prepared my slides. I prepared my worksheets. And at the end, I said, hey, does anyone want to pay me $500? No, I didn't do that. What did I do at the very end?
If anything resonated with you and you want to talk more, write leadership on your business card and leave it with me.
There you go. You like that? I should have done that. I should do that more. But I was smart about that. But I took out a business card, and I think I even wrote leader. Why? What's the opposite of leader? Follower? Okay, so everybody else, you're all followers. You see what I'm saying? Like, use a benefit-based word on your business card. Like, success. What is everybody else who doesn't fill it out writing in their head? Failure, right? So, do you remember how many people out of 60 filled out their business card? Two. Now, did I wait 3 weeks to call Joel back? How long did I wait? An hour, probably. Probably that day I called you back.
I think you did.
And the other person never called me back. Joel's business has exploded, and how many of you who know Joel, you know Joel's benefited you? You're either a client or he's benefited you. Well, go check out the room. Because he took a step forward that day. Good job. All right, awesome, no problem. So that's the point. What I did is I gave value, I showed up, I spoke for free. I said, if anything I said today resonated with you, write the word leader down and I'll follow up with you. And then you follow up with them, okay? I even hunted that other person down and went to their workplace. I'm serious. I was like, I am going to go pro. They probably called security. I don't know. Joel did. But then, Joel, that turned into a paying contract immediately after the first session. You do not meet with someone for 5 sessions free. Does your lawyer meet with you for 5 sessions free? Does your lawyer say, hey, can I pick your brain over Bob Evans? Do you ask your lawyer, hey lawyer, you know, you don't know me, but I need some legal advice, and can I take you to Dairy Queen? Right? But why do we do that with other professions? Glenn, you're a psychologist. Did you ever say that? Like, hey, let's meet at Dairy Queen for counseling. People have asked you. Exactly. And already starts off the relationship wrong. That's not a good filtering of clients. Notice, I filtered the clients by having Joel write that down. Number 3, action. Here's me as a happy day jobber. Here's me smiling, and inside I was dying. Can anyone relate? Anyone relate to that? Right? Look, life was good. I was Susan's pastor, right, Susan?
Yep.
All right. So I wasn't hating my job, but I was unchallenged. I had reached my potential. I had done everything I tried to do to change the organization, and I was plateaued. When you are plateaued in a day job, you are experiencing slow death. Is this true? Just be honest. Look around. Everything God created was meant to grow. Everything God created was meant to grow, but if you're not growing, you're dying. And I knew I was dying, and check this out. Here's a great Harvard Business Review. Don't trust me. Don't trust anything I said today. Look at the Harvard Business Review. I love this. Here's why you're 33% more likely to fail. All right, check this out. Entrepreneurs who give up their day jobs. Did you catch that? Entrepreneurs who give up their day jobs in stages, side hustles, are 33% less likely to fail than those who leave their jobs 100% to run into their new business full time. According to a study of thousands of Americans by University of Wisconsin. This staged approach, which allows entrepreneurs to gain important knowledge about their new business while phasing out of their paying jobs, has become much easier with the rise of digital technologies that reduce the cost and time commitments of starting new companies. Did you guys see that? The fact that you have a day job is actually a blessing. Right now, you online. If you have a day job, the fact that you're thinking, I could be a coach, I could start it as a side hustle, you are actually more likely to succeed. Here's why. Your day job, treat it like one large billable client. What can you do with billable clients? If you don't like them, what can you do? You can fire them. So what happens is you stop saying, I'm in a day job, I hate it, it's a prison, and instead you say, you know what? This is a really large client that I have who's paying me, and I'm charging them per year, and I'm going to be the best employee I can, and I'm going to get so serious about starting my side hustle. Because trust me when I say this, if you cannot have discipline and courage and passion in a side hustle, you won't have it full time either. Did you catch that? I'm sick of people who say, well, I did the romantic thing. I went in and told my boss, where they can, wherever, and then I went to the beach, and I'm now living my day job, or dream job. For how long? For 2 days now, okay? And what's happening next? I don't know, but I love the waves, Look, you're gonna bomb. The reason why with 3 kids and a wife and a mortgage and all kinds of stuff that I was able to make the transition is I said, I'm gonna absolutely hustle in my side hustle, and I'm still going to be an amazing employee, and it taught me sales, marketing, endurance, perseverance, grit, all those things. You guys have a great privilege today to do a side hustle. There's some other things. You guys want to know who are other people who did this? Check it out. As the new study notes, Steve Wozniak, what did he co-found?
Microsoft.
What?
Apple.
Apple. Okay, I get them confused. Remained as an employee at Hewlett-Packard long after co-founding with Steve Jobs. This dude, Pierre, launched eBay while working for a software development company. Henry Ford founded the Detroit automotive company while employed by Edison. I didn't know that. Did you know that? Meanwhile, so the point is this. The big people that we think are so cool and pioneers and rock stars, they probably had a side hustle. And they kept doing it. Is this encouraging? Anybody? I was encouraged. A lot of people want to go out on their own, but they're concerned about the risks. They have a family, they have bills to pay every month. A hybrid arrangement permits one to start a business on a small scale with less sunk down costs and downside risk. Equally important, it provides a learning experience about the enterprise. Awesome. Okay, number 4, commitment. Number 4, commitment. I made an absolute commitment. I wrote down a date, and I said, you know what? I am going to announce that I'm leaving by this date. And then the date came, and I didn't announce it. You know why? I'm human. Why? Because I was scared. And then my coach, Chet, called me up, and he swore at me many times on the phone. I'm not even kidding. He said, oh, I see you on social media. I see you just got back from wherever speaking. I'm like, yeah, it was great. He's like, does your work now? Are they happy? Oh, yeah, I got it cleared. Is your wife happy? I'm like, oh, yeah, she's cool with it. And then he says, is God happy? And I'm like, how do you even answer that? Is God happy? I don't know. He said, sounds to me like you're scared. Sounds to me like you're telling your clients to live big and you're not. And he just laid me to shreds. And I got off that phone and I felt sick. I literally felt like I had a vomit. Why? Why?
He was right.
Because he called me out and I knew what I had to do. I knew what I had to do because I was scared. David said in our last session, the little free bird had the bird cage open and he said, I'm not flying out, right? I mean, once we really see the door, we don't really want freedom maybe. We want to talk a big game. So I had to make a decision that I would go pro, that I would leave. So I created a plan and I focused on changing myself and shoring up all the blind spots that I have. And here's the secret, folks. You might want to write this down. Be the part before you get the part. What are you waiting for? Be the part before you get the part. Today, you can leave identifying yourself as a coach. I'm going to show you how at the end. Today, you can start telling people instead of, well, I work at the post office. You say, you know what? I'm a coach. Well, what kind of coach? I don't know, make it up, right? I'm a health coach, right? Name what you're doing. Kathy, you are a passive income coach. I love that. I saw that on her social media the other day. I'm like, ooh, that's good, that's good. So she identifies herself as a passive income coach. She is the part before she gets the part. I hear this all the time. Well, I don't have any clients. Who cares? What comes first? The client? The client just runs up to you and says, hey, I want you to teach me passive income. No, you say that's what you do, right? Internal commitment before external validation. Joel, I was probably close to peeing my pants when I was talking to you in that free session. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, what's coming next? I don't know. What if he says he wants to do it? I don't know. I didn't have a course like we teach our coaches now. Where like, here's a contract, here's an email, here's a business card. Like, we give our coaches everything they need now. Back then, I was so nervous, I didn't even know what to do. I probably was just like, breathe, Kary, just breathe. Number 5, hungry. You need to be hungry. You need to be hungry. When you numb your pain, you numb your potential. I was in pain. I was in pain back then. All I need to do is go to my Bible. My Bible's kind of like my part journal, and I read it the other day, and it was like in the margin, I feel stuck. I feel like David in the cave. I'm just like laying out, like I feel trapped. And what did I do? I kept numbing my pain. If you find yourself drinking alcohol in irresponsible ways, or downing substances, or binging on Netflix, or whatever, to quiet the ache inside, guess what? You're grieving. You're grieving your loss of potential. How do I know this? Because that was me. Is this true? Is this hidden, people? So here's what happens. My wife's a psychologist. I did 30 hours of grad school and counseling, enough to know that I never want to do it, okay? But I met her, which is a cool thing through there, so I met her through there. But here's the thing. Disassociation. In fact, Kaya's in the room. Kaya, you know about disassociation. So disassociation, does anyone know what this phenomenon is with people? It's people who've gone through a traumatic situation, like abuse, like abandonment, traumatic things, and what do? They literally leave their minds so that they can survive. It's a survival and coping mechanism. Guess what we call it nicely when we're at our day jobs? What do we call it? Zoning out, going through the motions, daydreaming. We are saying it is so stinking painful to be here right now, I'm actually going to go somewhere else. So I'll still collect my pay because I'm physically present, but mentally I am checked out. Is this true? Disassociation. If you find yourself doing this, it's a sign that you need to do a side hustle. You need to take some of that creative energy that you're just flittering away, and it's to make it happen. Here's what I was doing. I had all these other people's lives I was living. I was like, oh, that dude has such a cool life. I'm going to follow him online. And I just followed that dude, and I was like, wow, if I could just be that guy. And then what happens? Jealousy and envy. And then, oh, look at that lady. She's got the ideal thing. Oh, wow, I wish I could be doing what she's doing. I was comparing. When you're comparing, you're living someone else's life. You're not showing up in your own. Am I hitting anybody where it hurts? Anybody? I mean, not you, but your friend. Is this hurting your friend? Is this hurting your friend? What about online? Is this making sense? Erica, what are people saying? Are they cussing at me yet? No?
No, they're all saying thank you.
Okay,
This is awesome.
All right, good. Okay, just check. Number 6, enthusiasm. Okay? Enthusiasm. Now, I love the word enthusiasm. I'm going to use my my music group, 21 Pilots. We're in Columbus, so you gotta love 21 Pilots. And if you don't know what they are, don't say. Just don't say. Just Google it later. Just nod, okay? Here's the thing. These guys, these two little dudes, right? They're not too little now, but these guys, they started this band, right? And they go to the same school that my kids go to. We're Red Battery, by the way. Renee, other one. There you go. Thanks. So, check it out. Tyler and Josh, right? Their first concert is online. It's 17 people. Have you seen this? Or you know about them now?
Mm-hmm.
You know about them?
Yeah.
Okay, 17 people. Imagine doing a rock concert for 17 people. Does anyone see a problem with this? What's the mosh pit? I don't know. You know? Like, oh, you left the mosh pit. Oh, I moved, right? They're in this basement, and you should watch the video online, on YouTube. They have crazy enthusiasm. Crazy. I mean, I'm like looking at them and saying they're either on drugs, which they aren't, or something's up. They are playing so intensely. It's nuts. And the word enthusiasm, check it out. We'll talk about it in a moment. These are their concerts now. Okay? 17 people, 17,000 people. Guess who won a Grammy? Is that what they call it? Grammy? I always get those wrong. Grammy, right? Yeah. Guess who won the Grammy? Them. So now you're talking about 17 million people watching. But it started with 17 people in a room. I love what Chris just said. He said I had 3 people at my fellowship. Then he went to how many? 12. And now he's at 56 people who've seen it.
45 watch online.
Excellent. Here's success. You ready for a great Winston Churchill quote? Then I'll define it. Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. You guys want to know where we had our first Igniting Souls conference? You're in the room. We couldn't fill it. We didn't have food. My sister had a coffee pot in the back. Guess where we are right now? We're over at the Quest. We're in the largest room. We sold out the whole place, so now we need to reconfigure the room so we can fit 20 more people. Guys, this was just 4 years ago. Pete, you were there. Pat, you were there. Joel, you were there. Brian, you came on shortly after, right? Kathy came on shortly after. Debbie, people just kept coming. I said whether there's 5 people in the room or 5,000, I'm going to teach the best I can. I'm going to prepare. I'm going to come with so much passion. That's the secret. What does enthusiasm mean? You'll love this. Theos. Theos. What do you know about theos or theology? God. Theos. Enthusiasm means you're possessed by God. Or a God, depending on how you see the world. That's pretty cool. That's why I tell people often, connect with your creator, your core, and your community. Be a soul on fire. The world stops and takes notice when somebody's a soul on fire. Let's just talk dollars here. American Idol. What did Simon Cowell used to say after he saw thousands of people? What was the one question he asked these people?
Why do you want to be?
What's that?
Why do you want to be the American Idol?
Why do you want to be the American Idol? Awesome.
What would you do with the money?
What would you do with the money? The one that I heard the most was what makes you think you're the next American Idol? Something like that. But again, we probably saw 8 years of 50,000 interviews. But the point was he asked them, he was trying to tap in to their belief. He wanted to see if they had enthusiasm. He wanted to see, oh, I think I'm the next American Idol because I have a CD. Because my mom said I can sing good. Because I have a band. No, he wanted to hear because this is what I was born to do. Because this is my passion. Because this is my life. And based upon that little audition, they were either in or out. They had to be talented, but he put plenty of people who were talented, not as well, but had enthusiasm versus highly talented people. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. Support. We're going to do some Q&A here in a moment, but I'm going to tell you guys that you need support. If you just say, I'm going to be a coach and I'm going to go out there and figure out this thing myself, and then you get your first rejection, or you get your first, hey, I'd love to hire you. Do you have coach's insurance? And you're like, I'll get back with you on that, right? Are they a client? Anybody? If you do that, no, right? So you need support. As a coach, you need support. Should you do complimentary coaching sessions? Should you not? Should you do group coaching? How much should you charge? These are all questions that a lot of our clients asked us in the early years. And so we said, you know what, we're going to just start training people to be coaches. Harvard Business Review. Again, don't trust me. Look at the Harvard Business Review. It's an article called What Coaches Can Do for You. It's a famous study that's been done. Guess what the number 2 thing is about why corporations hire certain coaches? You ready for this? Number 1 at 65% was, does this person have experience coaching in similar settings? Who's in the room who's done a certain profession for a lot of years? Anybody? Okay, Don, what profession have you done?
Insurance.
Insurance. Do you think there's insurance agents out there who are just starting who could really benefit from your coaching about how to do certain things, not do certain things?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Do you think Don has experience? Anybody? He does. Do I care when I'm in a problem that Don has ever called himself an insurance coach? If he's done it for how many years?
30.
30 years. Do I care that just today he's decided to call himself an insurance coach if he's got 30 years of experience? What do you think? No. I'm like, dude, can you give me results, right? Number 2, most people skip this, guys. It's only 4% less. Number 2, clear methodology. Clear methodology as a coach is twice as important as can I get a return on my investment. Did you see that? Corporations, before they hire you, are twice as likely to say, tell me your methodology, versus, well, how can I measure the ROI if I'm going to invest in you? That's crazy. That means that they want to know your methodology. And here's what most coaches say. I'm just going to rip on the coaching industry for a second, a portion of it. I think I'm qualified to do that, right? Because I am a coach. I've been a coach for years now, and now we have a global business that's crushing it. Here's the point. Most coaching programs say, don't have a methodology. Just ask questions. That is a version of coaching. That is a version of coaching where you just ask questions. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not that type of coach. If you want me to sit in a room and ask you 50,000 questions and call it coaching, okay, great, but I'm not your coach. Why? Because I'm seeing you in pain, and I'm seeing issues in your life, and you know the issues in your life, and I'm going to speak into your life. I'm going to speak into your life. So all of our coaching programs have what Harvard said is the second most important thing, which is a clear methodology. Cool? Does this make sense? Is this connecting? Or should I rephrase that? Does this make sense to everybody? Okay. So I'm going to talk about our 3 coaching programs. Whether you find it interesting or not, that's fine. Learn from what I'm teaching here. Learn about the coaching industry. Even if you're like, I don't think I'd ever be one. Great. Listen to what I'm teaching about, because this will help you in your own coaching business. Some of you are saying, you know what, I actually would like to do that. I'd like to be part of a coaching group that is having success and people are getting results. So we call these coaching teams, we have 3 different ones. One is 100% faith-based. So this coaching program is all about identity. In fact, David, do you mind, Brian, can you pass out half these? And then David, can you pass out half these too? That'd be awesome. Okay. Online, Erica, can you share those 3 links? I'm going to talk about the 3 different coaching programs, because I believe these are needs that people have, okay? So number 1, this is faith-based, your secret name. How many of you have ever read your secret name? Anybody? Okay. Your secret name is all about how you, in life, have adopted labels that are holding you back, and how you are an imposter, because 80% of the population is. We're wearing masks. Me included. I was a former self-injurer. So if you want to know my story, I was a cutter in my young adult years, and that's the only way I made it through life. That was my coping mechanism, is self-injury with a knife, cutting. Nobody knew about it. That's how I exhibited my pain, tried to get control in my life. So that was self-injury. Here's the point. You're not going to get what you want in life, you get who you are. Right? You don't get what you want in life, you get who you are. And what most people are stuck with is a low self-image set point. Your set point, your self-image set point is like a thermostat. This is why you can have a beautiful young lady who looks amazing, is amazing, and she believes she's fat. And she believes that she needs to have bulimic episodes to be able to make it through life. Why? Because her self-image set point is locked in at a 2. So even though the world comes alongside her and says, wow, that speech you gave is amazing, you're fantastic, you have a gift, she's uncomfortable with that 10 treatment, so she self-sabotages so she can get 2 treatment, because that's how she sees herself. Does this make sense? So what's the secret? You need to reset your self-image set point. And so your secret name is all based upon helping others understand their true identity, reset their self-image set point so that they can actually get the results that they say that they want in life. So that they don't get the 2s and 3s, the guys or the colleagues who treat them like junk. Why? Because that's how they see themselves, and they're broadcasting that frequency. But as they raise their self-image set point, they can attract the right types of people. Once you know who you are, these 2 programs can be easily done in corporate or nonprofit or whatever. This program is all about authoring your opus. Your opus stands for masterpiece in Latin. There's 2 words for work in Latin. One is labor, which means toil. The other one is opus, which means masterpiece. I talked about my friend Chet. He came up with the great model. He owns a company called Built to Lead in Columbus. And the opus stands for overarching vision. P is purpose. U is unifying strategy. And S is scorecard for significance. How many of you have authored your opus in the room? A bunch of you, right? It becomes your GPS for your purpose in life. It's you authoring your opus and discovering what it means to be a master in the art of living. Once you know who you are and why you were put on this earth, then oftentimes you say, I'm in the wrong job. You say, what am I doing? Now I have clarity, and now I wish I could actually turn my passion into a full-time gig. Those are our dream job coaches. They take people through what's called the Dream Job Boot Camp. Dream Job Boot Camp. So here's what our coaches get. They get #1 worldwide certification. When we certify our coaches, they are certified to go anywhere in the world and teach on that content. These are the same books in the back that I wrote. I create PowerPoints, I create handouts, I create coaching sessions, I create keynote speeches, all of those things. You guys know, how many streams of income do I create from one book? 18. So all 18 streams of income that I have done for my own books, I say, here's the tools. You are worldwide certified to go and do that. Guess how much I take? How much do I take from you, Renee, every month?
Nothing.
Nothing. So you get all the profit. Once you join the team, forever and ever and ever, you can co-brand the content with your content as well. Just, cite that it's also your secret name or deeper path or day job or dream job. You keep 100%. I don't like to manage people. I don't want coaches that I'm like, hey, here's 10%, give me per year. Give 20% to David because he looks better than me. No, I don't do that, right? I just say 100% you get to keep. Daily support. Anyone who's one of our coaches who has any questions, they're in a private group, and every single day they can ask anything that they need. Here's some of them. There you are, Kathy. There you are, Renee, right? We do quarterly trainings. There's Brian. I'm trying to see, there's Joel. I think that's Joel. Is Joel chewing a jawbreaker?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that is Joel. Renee didn't even recognize it. Joel likes to chew gobstoppers when she's, no, I'm kidding. But anyways, we have quarterly training where David's actually going to be teaching the next one. David, can you come up here, man?
I did it.
All right. So, David, you're now going to be teaching once a quarter as well, and you are like the business builder, structure, systems. How do you build your online business? We met the other day on Tuesday. It wasn't Labor Day, Tuesday. And we met the whole day, and we said, how can we serve our coaches more? And one of those things were that you teach as well. So I forget what you're teaching. You might not remember it off the top of your head either.
Yeah, it's how to take our coaching programs and turn them into cash as fast as possible. That's what we're trying to get people to do, because we know that if you can have success, we're going to get you farther down the path faster. That's what we're trying to do. We're going to try to get you as much success as we can, as fast as we can. And we're going to just really show what we've learned, all the things that we've done, all the things that we've...
Mistakes we've made?
Oh, we made a few. But that's okay. That's how we learn.
Yeah.
We just keep marching forward, and we learn, and we get better every single time, and we just keep applying new principles and new ideas. And we're going to try and share those with you and give you some real concrete steps on how you can take that and apply it to the next step.
Awesome. Cool. Glad to see you there. All right. Awesome. Here's what else we do. We have you actually take the course yourself. So you can't lead people where you haven't gone yourself. So you're going to get the course as well to actually go through it. And here's the little trick. You only need to be 1 week ahead. Right? Is this true? Joel, do you remember how many weeks ahead I was when you first took my Deeper Path coaching cohort?
I think it was days.
Oh, it's days. All right. That's true. That's true. In other words, once you go through it, even if it's a week ahead, a few days ahead, you now can teach others because you've done that. How many days do you have to have gone down a river successfully before you can show someone else to go down the river successfully? One time, right? Audio training. If you're a commuter, tons of people are commuters. We have all of our coaching calls that have been recorded and labeled based on what the subject matter was. And these are all on audio. So while you're driving, mowing the lawn, running, whatever you do, you can listen to the audio. We also give you, again, the same bumper videos, exercises, object lessons, slides, handouts, workbook, leader guides. Pat, I'm going to ask you and Erica to come up. Erica, I guess you're not going to be able to manage comments, but yeah, come on up, Pat. Come on up, Pat. Come on up, Erica. So,
I'm going to bring Mark too.
Bring up Mark. All right, go for it. You bring up Mark. Awesome, bring up Mark. Mark, who drove all the way from Pennsylvania today, right? Awesome. And you edited her book.
Yes, right.
And I got to mute the light so you're not shining in it. But Pat, we got to celebrate you because how old are you?
83.
83 years old. If I can walk and I'm 83, it's a good day, right? But you just finished a lifelong dream a few days ago. What did you do?
I finished writing my book, and that started 7 years ago. I woke out of a deep sleep, sat straight up in bed, and I heard God say, before you die, write a book for your descendants for 1,000 years forward until I send my son.
It's a pretty big dream.
So I just accomplished.
Wow.
I can die now.
You can die. All right. Pete, come on up, Pete. We got to bring up Pete because Pete's the silent supporter spouse. Who, come on up here, Pete. Let's give Pete a hand too. Good job, good job. So the reason why Pete and Pat are up here and Erica, so you helped edit the book. Is it a good book?
Amazing.
Amazing. All right. What's the name of it? Language of Heaven.
The language of heaven.
The language of heaven. I want to know that. All right.
5 gifts that create legacy.
Fantastic. So it's a fantastic book. If you think you're too old in the room, she's older. All right. If you think you're too old online, she's older. So if she can do it, you can do it. But I wanted to highlight you two because you guys took your secret name and your secret name coaches, and you did that last spring with a group of ladies. Life change? Was it powerful?
Life change, and they actually, I gave them chapters, and they read the book. Awesome. And edited some for me.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, look, let's give them a hand. I'll keep rolling. All right. Thank you. So why do I bring up these people as they're like, Kary, why did you bring me up? You didn't tell me that. Because, look, I don't care what your excuse is. You can talk to Erica and learn later what some of her self-limiting beliefs were in the beginning. Single mom of 5, right? Single mom of 5, how do I become a coach? How do I write a book? How do I start a business? And I remember I did your orientation call on the phone the very first time, and I'm thinking, how is she going to do this? I'll be honest. I was like, how is she going to do this with 5 kids? You did it. And by the way, I've never been asked back at a Barnes & Noble for a book signing, but Erica has twice. Let's give Erica a hand. Yeah. So once I leave Barnes & Noble book signings, they kind of kick me out. But with Erica, they're like, hey, that was so good. We're ordering 50 copies more. And that happened on Mother's Day. Yeah, so, folks, what's your excuse, right? So here's the point. Marketing tools. Okay, if you say, I'm bad at sales and marketing, we give you tons of tools. Promotional partnerships. David, who do we put on the home page where they can find? Our coaches, right? You go to the home page. Who does that? Homepage, there's you. We list all of our coaches. You're part of a global community. Anyway, it's a ton of fun. You might say, well, does this really work? Give me some results. Here's just one. Dennis joined last June 28th, freshly printed and put in a binder. Now I need to go through it so I can become the best dream job coach I can be. Sounds like the Army or something, but hey, it's all good. He says, thanks, Kary. And then guess what? June 28th. Don, you see that? Am I making that up? June 28th? Now watch this. Sold my first Dream Job boot camp with my coaching attached July 10th. This is not like, hey, become a coach, and 5 years later you get your first client, June 28th, July 10th. He got serious. He went through the content. I just talked to him Tuesday, and he's got more clients as well. Dennis Riley of MA is what, Massachusetts? Thank you. All right. So anyway, we open up our coaching teams 4 times a year. 4 times a year. We're opening them up on Monday for 1 week, then we close them, and then we train our coaches, and we continue on with running the rest of our business. We want to have a few more people join us. So you guys all have an application. This is not a high fee. Okay, it's not a high fee. By filling out an application, you are not committing to anything. We actually can't take everybody. So we look through and say, who are they? What do they want to do with the content? What does the application say? I don't even know. What does it say? It says, what are you going to do with it? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Why do you want to do it?
Be a team member, unique strengths, what do you offer the team,
Excellent.
And how will you use the content?
Excellent. Sounds great. So folks, you in the room, you online, you have a link too. I'm going to do 15 minutes of live Q&A right now. So this is some of the best stuff where people ask anything related to the coaching or content today. But if you have any inkling that this might be something you want to do, fill out an application. We'll move you guys to the front of the line, and we'll get back with you. So we won't do anything today, but we'll move you to the front of the line. And then on Monday, when I open it up to our podcast audience, our email followers, subscribers, and those types of things, then we'll kind of look at all the applications and say, based on these, we want to offer these people a slot. And again, we'll talk about all the details once you apply. So any questions that you guys have today about coaching, about what I shared, the Harvard Business Review articles, the Wisconsin study, anything. I'm here to serve and add value. Yes?
Yeah, if you can touch on the distinction between the coach who asks questions
Yes.
and a clear methodology.
Yeah. So look, I'm not against... Okay. Let me see if I got a marker here, all right? Hang on one second. Let's see if it works. I'm coming back, don't worry. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you guys a little quick education in the difference between coaching, consulting, you name it, training, all this stuff, all right? So on a spectrum, you have counseling. And again, I know a little bit about counseling. My wife's been one for years, a professional counselor. I tell people it's cheaper to marry one than to go to one. All this stuff, right? But counseling is usually a focus on the past focused. Coaching is usually future focused. Counseling is usually moving people from an area of dysfunctionality. I can't spell while I talk, so I'm not going to pretend, okay? Then you have over here functionality, okay? So counseling is past focus, usually bringing someone from dysfunction to functionality in an area. I've been to a counselor, okay? It was part of my health. I love counselors. Coaching is usually moving someone from functionality to potentiality, okay? Functionality to potentiality. It's usually future focused, all right? There are different schools of thought in coaching. I don't want to rip on people who are coaches who just ask questions. Questions are very powerful. Jesus asked questions. Questions can be very enlightening. Questions done the right way can just sear somebody's soul. I'm all for questions. However, I've just seen a rise of self-declared coaches who you talk to them about what their methodology is, and they don't have one. In other words, who do you coach? Anybody. Okay, so you're a coach for anybody. What is success for you? Whatever their questions lead them to. You know, it's just very ethereal, very fuzzy, very abstract. I'm not saying you have to go by the book and say, hey, we're in our coaching session 1, here's the lesson today. But I'm saying a framework. Here's what I'll declare as a framework. Frameworks are powerful. I'm going to do a podcast on it next week. Frameworks are a solution broken down into simple steps. Okay? So that's a framework. A framework, a methodology, is that you have a solution, i.e., I'm stuck in my identity. My self-image set point is low. How do I get out of that? Well, I can pepper you with 50 questions over 50 sessions, and we may get somewhere. Or I could use, and you know this, Brian and Chris, you know we have the Soul on Fire questions. 85 of them. So before you sit down with somebody, you hand them the Soul on Fire questions, and as a self-analysis, they're going to answer 85 questions. It's going to rip them up in a good way, expose areas that they may have been stuck in for years. But that document now is going to be applied over top of a framework that's going to lead them to a solution. So Dream Job coaches, what is our framework? Prison, plan, payoff. Prison, plan, payoff. They're stuck in their day job, it's prison. Their dream job is the payoff, but they need a plan. So we have 9 steps that help people go from prison to payoff. It's called the dream job or plan, and our coaches actually coach them toward that framework. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Good question. The man who thought I was a female before I started. It's all good. I like females. I have 2 daughters, 1 wife. It's all good. Any other questions? Questions about coaching, counseling, training, consulting, I mean, you name it. Online, any questions? While Pete's going to ask his, go ahead and ask questions too.
Is it reasonable to ask a client what their expectation is?
Sure.
In meeting with you?
Sure. I mean, we have what's called a coaching contract. You can talk about frequency. You should also develop boundaries. Just because someone hires you as their client doesn't mean that they can just pepper you every day on text messages with questions. Hey, you're my coach, I'm paying you, so you got to set boundaries. So frequency is one thing, expectations is another thing. Duration. Sometimes people say, well, if you become a coach, you need to sign up for a 6-month package. That may scare people. I always, in my coaching sessions, have an out. It's called, if I don't like you or if you don't like me, in 1 session, we're done. Like, forever. In other words, I don't believe in long-term contracts personally. Now, some people say, well, what if they walk? I'm basing my departure from my day job on that. Fine. You can do that. I get it. But I kind of don't want to be with someone for 6 months if I'm not finding them to be a good coachee. So, you know, then you start dreading, oh, I got to meet with Kary again, you know. He never does the work. That's not, you don't want that relationship either. Yeah?
Have you determined a good space between coaching sessions that's been kind of a common thread that you've noticed?
Spaces is in like...
between sessions.
So...
A week long, every 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. So, I've done coaching clients once a month, as low as that. Why? Because once you can deliver results, your fee goes up, and some people might not do that. You know, I don't take on a lot of coaching clients anymore. David and I are building a business. We have a publishing company. I mean, you name it. But I think weekly's great. I think more than once a week is too much because you give them assignments. Like, hey, we talked about this today. You said you're not getting sales results. I want you to make 5 calls. And so I like coaching sessions that are high accountability. Not just, hey, you know, let's shoot the breeze today. It's like, no, you're paying me for a fee. Joel, you know. I mean, you were paying me for a fee, and we had action steps and deliverables and accountability points and homework. I mean, you know, you're hiring someone who's going to hold your hand to the fire. Most clients I meet, this is interesting, Chris, most clients that I had would tell me to be tougher on them. Like, you know, sometimes we can kind of let people go as a coach. They're like, dude, lay into me. Just hold me to the fire. Because they knew their spouse or their kids or their business partner was also hoping this thing would go well, too. There's a lot riding on that session. I have Coaches Insurance. I can give you guys a link. I don't get a referral or anything, but I believe it's called Big Life Coaching Insurance. It's not expensive. It's maybe $300 a year or something. Now, Geico actually sells Coaches Insurance. It's more expensive. So, you know, those are all things we talk about with our coaches. Other questions, comments, thoughts? Yeah?
Yeah, how important is the technology side of this?
Yeah. I have clients everywhere. David and I, we run a global business. Last night I was on the phone with people in Australia, I mean the UK. We got Mafan, who's coming from Nigeria to our conference. You can do coaching sessions via Skype. You can do phone sessions. You do not discount your coaching because you're on a phone, because you're on a screen. You charge what you charge, and that's your rate. And now suddenly you can get clients when you live in a small town. Because trust me, we've heard all the excuses. David and I, well, you know, I live in a small town and nobody there even values coaching, and nobody's, you know, the median income's too low. Great. You know, you're now reaching 7 billion people, not 7. So you can definitely reach people. I like my, I don't even call them my coaches, because to me, nobody's a Kary Oberbrunner coach. I will never start a team like that. To me, that's stupid, okay? You are a coach. God made you. God put desires and dreams in you. So you need to be your coach, but you need tools in your toolbox. And that's where your secret name, deeper path, day job to dream job are absolute tools that will help you, pull out the identity one when someone's stuck on their self-image set point. Oh, here's someone who's waning in their purpose. They keep getting, you know, hacked with their schedule. They need to author their opus or dream job boot camp as well. Joel, and then I know you. Tell me your name again.
Oh, Jack.
Jack, that's right. Awesome. Joel and Jack.
Can you talk about how coaches can differentiate themselves from all of these other coaches that are out there? So the value adds.
Yeah. Personally, I don't like the word life coach. If you've branded yourself that way, don't worry. You know, who cares what I think anyway? But I'm just saying, when Geico can create a commercial that parodies a life coach, have you seen this one? Where the guy's like, "You're great, you know, you got potential," or something. I forget. Am I thinking right, or am I having a dream right now in front of you? Okay. Did anybody see this? Somebody saw it. Thank you. I'm not crazy. All right. So when TV mimics a life coach and can parody that, I think it's important to distinguish yourself as a type of coach. Business coach, you will charge a higher fee, but you will have more pressure on you to increase the bottom line. Relationship coach, Susie, is one of our friends. She's a relationship coach, branding coach, real estate coach, passive impact coach, health coach. Susan, aren't you a health coach? Susan's a health coach. So you can brand yourself as the flavor of that coach that you are. If you just say I'm a coach, yeah, you get some people who don't know that because they're like, well, what team, or what sport. So I think business coach or that type of thing, success coach, you can do that. Jack and then Don.
How do you determine what fee you charge at the beginning?
Yeah.
And how do you know when to raise it and when to lower it?
Sure. When you have too many people, you raise it. I like a complimentary coaching session first when you're first starting, because you need practice. And if you have this high bar that says I'm $500 an hour, you might scare away a lot of people. And I personally, what feels right is no less than $100 an hour. Personally, if you're just starting out. But you may leave some money on the table. Why? Because you are now your own business. They're paying for your travel. Like, you don't get, health insurance. Once you start becoming a freelancer, you can't just charge what your billable rate is. You have to run a business. And so they're paying for your business to run. I love what Picasso said. This is a great quote, great story. Picasso, you ready? Picasso's at this cafe. He's just drinking his coffee. Someone comes up and says, "Oh my gosh, you're Picasso. Can you paint a portrait, or not? Can you draw a portrait of me right now?" And he's like, "I don't have any paper. Here's some paper. Here's a pencil. Can you draw a portrait of me?" It takes him 5 minutes. And he says, "How much will that be?" And he says, 15,000 francs. And the guy's like, 15,000 francs? That took you 5 minutes to draw. And he said, that's where you're mistaken. It did not take me 5 minutes. It took me a lifetime. They are not paying for an hour of your time. If Don is going to help a real estate agent save a month's worth of work because they're doing something wrong, and it took him 30 years to come to that awareness level, he's getting a deal. The guy's getting the deal of his lifetime to save a month of his life and tens of thousands of dollars by tweaking his, you see what I'm saying? So this is where you can't say, my hourly rate is $100. It's always based on the value that you bring. Okay? My coaching clients say, you're charging way too less. Because what I do is I save them tons of time or help them push their business further, these types of things. Okay? Awesome. Don had a question.
Yeah. What about in-person meetings?
Yeah.
Is that part of the equation?
Sure. Yeah, in-person meetings are fine. You do not need to rent an office. Okay? I'm just being real, folks. Like, look, so many coaches think they need cameras and light kits and this and that. David and I, we used to bootstrap everything, true? And here's what we would say. We're not going to buy something that'll help our business grow until we actually get clients. So in other words, that was the little reward. We're like, ooh, we need this new technology. Well, let's get that when we reach our next income level. That's smart, rather than these coaches who say, well, I need a $25,000 website and I need this and I need that. They think that's going to get them clients. It's not. I'd rather you have no website. I'd rather you have no office. Use your cell phone. Here's the other cool thing. You might actually save money by applying for our coaching team. Seriously. If you do not have an LLC, it costs $150 in Ohio. $150. You can now discount everything. You can discount your mileage to here today. All right? If you meet with someone after and you talk about business, deduct your lunch, okay? Don't tell the government I said this, right? Talk to your CPA. But your cell phone, that's your tool. Okay? Your headset, that's your you can start your discounting a tremendous amount of things, and your first year claim a loss and save $5,000 in taxes. Does this make sense? Okay. Other questions?
I would like for you to just expound a little bit on Jack's question when it came to how much you charge and all that.
Yeah.
So one thing that's been helpful for me is
Yeah.
to be able to charge up front for maybe 6 or 10 sessions.
Yeah, that's fine.
as opposed to doing one session at a time.
That's fine. Look, if you want to do packages and you're in the beginning, I get that. If you want to say, you know what, I do a 10 package situation, go for it. What I don't want at the place where I'm at in my life, I don't want to spend another minute with somebody if I know it's not good for them and good for me. I can't do that anymore, okay? So I don't like long-term things. I'm not, you know me, Joe, I've been around for years. I don't like ditch my clients, but at the same point, if you're bringing a client to a truth point in their life and they keep resisting, I don't want to meet with them for 6 more months. I'd rather pay them, to get out of it, type of thing. So when you join our team, we have contracts that you can use with people, all those things. All right, folks, well, I'm going to stay after. David's going to stay after. I hope you had a blast online as well. And again, we open teams on Monday for your Secret Name, Deeper Path, and Dream Job coaches. And if you're interested, please apply online or here, and we'll get back with you very quickly after that. Come next October, I don't even know what the next day is for our fellowship. October 6th is the next fellowship, but October 22nd and 21st is the conference. We have people coming from Nigeria and the UK, so if you live in Hilliard, what's your excuse, all right? All right? Thanks so much. We'll see you guys. Thank you. Thank you.